Alright, so what we're going to do next is we're going to start to learn how to add text to our Adobe Illustrator document. So I'm going to open Adobe Illustrator and I'm going to go File, New. This is something we have already done. Our unit is inches, the width is 24, the height is 12. Again, we do that because that is the size of our laser engraver. We click Create, and this is our blank artboard. Something we already did as well is create a box for the size of our candy machine, which is 3 inches wide, and if you recall, it was 5 inches tall. We click OK. Here's our rectangle. The arrow is our selection tool, and now I can move that to the top left. So that should be a location of where we are at currently with our project. What we're going to learn today is how to add text to this document. On the left hand side, we have the type tool. If I click that and come over, I can click and drag a text box. Now it's important, this size of this text box right now, I want to make it the rough size that I want, but it does not have to be perfect. I can always go back and readjust it. Now what it does is it puts in some language just to show you how big your text box is. This does not matter what you type. You can type whatever you want now. That's just a sample. So maybe I want to put Mr. Cosin. Alright. Now it comes in just a basic font, but you can highlight it. And up here at the top, these are our settings for what we want our text and or our font to look like. So I can choose the size. Maybe I want to make it a little bigger. Alright, maybe 36. Now, what I want to do next is maybe change the font. So, whatever font you like, maybe more traditional. Maybe if you want something a little more non-traditional, you can do that as well. That one's kind of cool. Now, what I've done here is you can see it went onto 2 lines. If I stretch my text box, it will fit onto, you can see it pops up, 1 line. But if I make it too short, it's not going to fit. This is just like a text box in any other program, whether it be Google Docs or Pages or anything else that you're using to create a text box. Your text box just needs to be the correct size for the text that you're trying to put in it. So then what I'll try to do is adjust my box so it's the perfect size. And now what I can do is drag it. Now you can see that these purple lines are helping me to line it up. So right there is the center. If I wanted it centered on my candy machine, but maybe I want to put it up at the top, down at the bottom, wherever it is. So I'll put that, and maybe I want to add another secondary text box at the bottom and write engineering and design. So now this is all sorts of messed up because I have a red box. I can't even read what I said, so I have to make this bigger. So there's engineering and design. Now I want to highlight this, and maybe I want it centered. That's up here on the right side. You can justify it to the left, to the center, or to the right, right, left, center. I like the way that looks, but I think it's a little too big. We'll put it like that. And again, I'm going to adjust my text box to be right big enough, right like that. And then what I'm going to do is select it and line it up right in the center. And maybe that might be the design that I want. Now, one thing that I did not mention yet, but it is important to mention, is the laser engraver will read the color of your engraving. So make sure that your text is in black, okay? And one thing to think about when you are choosing your font is to choose a font that is darker. If I choose a font, for example, the one that I did choose, you can see it's fairly light, the lines are fairly thin. That will engrave, but it's not going to be as dark as, let's say, I'm going to choose another font here just for that one. If I choose a font that is pretty bold, like this one. So that font, in comparison, you can see is much darker. It's going to give you a much deeper, darker engraving. But again, this will be visible. This is just going to be a little bit darker when the machine burns it into your project. So that is something to think about. Another good tip that I haven't told you yet in these videos is, let's say I changed that and I did not want to do it. Maybe it was an accident. If you hit the Control on your keyboard and hold it and press Z, that's undo. So I just undid that previous step, and now I'm back to where I was. Make sure you save this. When I do save this, I'm going to do File, Save As, and I'm going to save it as my last name underscore Candy Machine. And I'm going to make sure I save that to the desktop of my computer. I'm going to hit Save. I'm going to click OK. And now, if I close out of my Adobe Illustrator, I'm going to find it right here. So this is my file, Cosin Candy Machine. I need to save this on my Google Drive. So you should all know how to do this by now. But just in case, we're going to open Google and we're going to go to our drive. So if you're up here at the top, you can log in and then go to the waffle. That's what a lot of people call it, and go to Drive. And on your main drive screen, or My Drive, you are simply going to drag your Adobe Illustrator file into your drive, and it will say starting upload and upload complete. So now we have our file on our drive, and I can access it from any computer in the computer lab or the design lab in the back where the laser engraver is. That is crucial, so make sure you do that. Close out of that. This file is now on our drive. I do not need this. You can now drag it into the recycle bin to clear your desktop. Now I have more items on my desktop because I do a lot of work with different classes. Your desktop should be clean when you are done, and it should only have the applications on the side. The next video that you will see will be about adding an image to your Adobe Illustrator design, so that will take it to the next level. See that next video for that image process.